Hey, and welcome to another tutorial. This time I thought I would make a cityscape tutorial with like a subject in the middle, and I really like those little Japanese, I think they're called K vans or K trucks, and one time I painted like a hover car version of those. So I thought I would make this piece with one of those trucks in the center and just come up with a fun universe around it. So yeah, as always, I do start with a very crude line drawing and most importantly, figure out where the horizon is, okay? Um, by knowing where the horizon is, you can start doing some perspective lines and get a correct form. I found myself putting the vanishing point kind of a third in and just try to extrude some form of a cityscape out of this horizon. So I want to start with two. It's like the foreground is on the floor of one floor of this giant building, and we're looking down at the parked Hovertruk, and on the other side of the sky road or whatever, uh, you can see more of the cityscape. So I'm just blocking this out with cubes, figuring out where windows go, and it's quite a lot of trial and error. I just move stuff around, flipping the image, and I want to make sure it looks kind of believable but also fun. Luckily this is digital media, so I can just cut it out and move it around. Just want to define this truck a little bit and work on its position. See that I'm kind of trying to make the truck look parked, so I'm going to tilt it a little bit, maybe make it look like it's like almost like it's floating on water and anchored down, but in the sky. Um, yeah, I want the foreground to look kind of cozy, or almost like you can imagine different levels of uh, built floors of restaurants or shops, and a lot of changed architecture and just on top of each other. Um, Here I'm just placing another truck. Maybe it could be like coming out of a post office or a delivery center. Feel kind of confident here that this line drawing will be enough. So I'm creating a new layer, just dumping any color in there. Just make a sky real quick. Using my lasso tool, and I'm holding Alt to get the straight lines. And using huge brush here to do some of the occlusion. It doesn't matter that I used a brown main layer, like I'm just dabbing different colors around, and even at this stage I haven't really decided what color the actual place should be. So I kind of think changing your mind in a digital painting adds a little bit of a vibrancy or a little bit of personality in a digital media like this, where it's easy to kind of go stiff on the colors. And here I'm trying to use some layer settings to get like a unified color on top of all the blotches that I did. And you'll see me go through lots of changes throughout the painting. So in the process of defining stuff, I find I want to shuffle stuff around just to give them more focus. So I'm trying not to be afraid of losing what I just painted and just kind of repair them. And having traces of cuts like this honestly can even help sometimes, where you can get some randomness to work from. So as you can see, there's a lot of lines going straight towards the truck. The traffic is kind of also pointing towards it. Hopefully all this helps with the focus, which is the truck. I could spend all day trying to figure out the design of that door, how it opens and how the boxes come out. Okay, so now I want to do something here like a storefront, a couple of signs lighting up this area. It's risky though, because it's going to compete with the truck, but I also want the busy street feel. I can imagine like products sitting outside, so you can just pick them up and pay for them. Yeah, this piece is tricky because I do want so much for it. I want it to be busy, full with fun little storefronts and traffic and trucks and all kinds of stuff. So it's very difficult to make it not too cluttery. It is very cluttery, but I'm trying to clean it up, but still preserving that depth in within the structures, and it's pretty hard. I want to define, or not define, I want to make a silhouette here. Just draw out a building silhouette. Trying to not be afraid of removing whatever I painted before. Figure out something interesting and then paint within that silhouette. More ads. I want to give this storefront also some love. So one thing I haven't done yet is to use a huge soft brush here and add a little bit of atmospheric perspective, and that's fog. See if we can see how easy you can get some cool variation. You just take some of the light bits and you use lighten layer, and you got some signage and stuff, maybe windows that you can start defining in the back there. Let's take this piece, stretch it out, use a lighten layer. See here, I'm already getting some cool concrete feel to it. Let's see if I can use this part for over here. Maybe not as successful as on the other wall, but easily remove that. Let's add some warning stripes here, the black and yellow. I used to have a period where I really hated doing these things because they're such a cheap way of getting something in there, but now I kind of have a new love for the black and yellow warning tape, caution tape. Actually, there is a certain color code, so there's many different ones where, you know, one is for fire, one is for falling or whatever, falling hazard. Here's my little cheapo trick. I kind of dig a set of ellipses that are placed like this. I don't know, it's just something about it. I like it. Little notches. That. Yeah. I guess this is something I always do. I changed my mind on the crop here, so I just want to add to the top. And why? Well, I want to be able to show a little bit how big those buildings are in the back, and I don't feel they had the space to do that with the last crop. So here I'm just using the paint bucket tool, just applying the same color, just creating a quick base, stealing bits and pieces from the more finished areas, and hopefully kind of patch it up and let it catch up with the rest of the painting. I guess it shows that you can save a lot of time by stealing areas from the painting. Let's do something with the ceiling here. Maybe there is like arms, or what do you call it, like a railing thing holding up that pipe. It's awkwardly going out very much. It needs to be held up by something. Yeah, I'm starting to. I really feel good about the lighting in the back now. It's like the right amount of darkness versus lights. Almost like evenings when it is rainy, or not evenings, but like afternoon, when you look out and you're surprised it's so dark. You think it's late in the evening or something, but it's actually only in the afternoon, and you're like, wow, there must be some thick clouds up there. That's the type of lighting I wanted to go for. I want to add some huge vertical windows on these skyscrapers in the back, and I'm working a lot with the clone tool here, and there's a lot of areas I can get that window light from. So once I have a little bit of information, I start using a regular brush and painting out, and I want some depth in those window areas. So, you know, this antenna is cool and all, but I want it to be bigger. Bigger! I have no idea what it does. It's a mobile. 5G. But yeah, I find myself doing one thing and then like realizing, maybe that thing needs to be a step crazier. Don't be afraid of going nuts. See, I'm constantly enlarging it like a little more, a little more. I'm going to take the tail of this thing and actually make a normal car and see if I can just draw out the main shape here. I'm going to go for a dark bottom and then mostly windows. Something like this. Light up one side. Always looking for that little bit of a dynamic lighting, you know. If you have a car, like why not have it partly shadow? There's something above it that's casting a shadow. I think we should give these cars a bit more love too, so clearly this bottom needs to be darkened down a bit. Adding the headlights. This guy should maybe get some windows on the side and the tail lights. Adding this car going the other way, but I need to move it a little bit. I'm constantly thinking of the tip not kind of tangenting with the walls and stuff. I want to add some rear view mirror details and tech here, and always do the rubber seal thing around the windshield. I think that does a lot to vehicles where it's not just glass meeting the metal, but there's like a little thought behind it where there's a plastic edge, and it's just an outline, but it helps a lot with the believability of the thing, I guess. There's a lot of square designs here, so I'm just trying to play with something round, like a round little store signing thing up here. It's 2 floors. Of course, this area needs some signage too, right? I want this side to kind of catch up on the nutty, messy street market feel. Okay, so this place obviously has no characters, so it's definitely something I need to add. So I just want to. I'm honestly kind of suck at characters, but these I'm using the clone tool and getting some silhouettes going with lots of color variation, and then when I'm fairly happy with the silhouette, I start tweaking the cloned stuff and try to get the shoulders to catch some light. Maybe he's holding a box here. Looks like a Vulcan. I'm gonna add a cap. Kind of weird looking, but I'm slowly getting there. Little nose. See what it looks like when I flip the image. Oh, yuck. Gotta fix that cap, so I'm gonna scooch it a little bit. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not gonna go nuts on the detailing of this character, but I want him to be recognizable and fill up the scene and make it a bit more alive looking. It's very important. Like if I could do something different in my career, that would be start on characters and drawing people much earlier. For years I tried to just paint hard surface stuff, and it started lacking life because there was no characters. And now I'm sitting here old and grumpy, barely know how to paint characters. A piece of advice: try to learn everything and not get behind on certain things. It's scary, I know, but you just have to do it. I'm gonna add like this huge windshield wiper. Let's see, and just measuring it out, see if it's too big when it's up. So here I want to add some, traces of dirt outside of where the windshield wiper has been wiping off the water and the dirt. But yeah, maybe just remove some or try to place them in a way so that the truck is not hidden too much. Or simply could be that even if you fall down, there's something down there that can save you. At least you have the big stripes on the edge. But yeah, I would be pretty worried as a parent letting my kid walk around there and potentially falling down, hurting themselves. It's the things I think about when I draw concepts. Safety, it's important. Yeah, this stage is mainly just using a very small brush and zooming out, checking where I can make some improvements. If I would take it even further detail-wise, I would actually zoom in on an area and just work on it for 20 minutes, just polish, polish, polish. It's very boring though, so it's not something I want to show. It's this process again on a smaller area. So there's really nothing to learn. It's just putting the time in to do it. Here I'm trying to make the ads a bit more interesting by cloning in parts from the environment. Yeah, it's a tricky scene because there's so many things I want to have in there. Ads, cars, windows. It is an overwhelming scene, and you can barely see what it is. Like if I zoom out, it's frighteningly busy. But I hope it's done enough so it's got this chaotic city feel, but you can kind of hint what's in there. A couple of last touches on the floor. Reduce this. Alrighty, there you have it. I think we're gonna call it. And yeah, thanks for looking at my paint strokes. Hope you learned something. And take care. Bye.